Well, McDonald's leaders now say the Quarter Pounders will be again back on the menu, this coming after testing at hundreds of its restaurants, and they ruled out beef patties as a source of an outbreak of E. coli poisoning. So it was tied, though, to the popular burgers that killed one person and then sickened at least 75 others across 13 states. A total of 22 people had to be hospitalized. The Food and Drug Administration in the U.S. now continues to believe that onions from a single supplier are likely the source of the contamination of that E. coli. So what legal rights do both the consumer and the supplier have when a health outbreak like this occurs?
All right, so let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Collie Rhodes to answer that question. So what are the legal rights of both, and including the customer as well, who's impacted by this?
Customers, where I'd start first. I mean, there's already a lawsuit that's been filed today in Colorado. That would be any type of lawsuit that would be negligence. That's the first place you're starting. So it's the same standard for any type of negligence claim. Did you have a duty? Did you breach that duty? Did your actual breach cause my damages? And do I have some damages to point to? That is the standard. I don't think that's going to be the biggest lawsuit, but I think you'll see a number of lawsuits. You talk about one person dying, wrongful death would still fall under that same type of standard. It's going to be a negligence claim. Then you have to walk your way through those steps. Any of those 75 plus individuals that were harmed, if you can point to some harm, you can directly point to an E. coli test that's positive. You had some type of damages, blood in the stool, things like that they're looking for. I mean, you can easily point to that. So this would be a case that can be successful on its merits, but this is the smaller type of claim. The larger claim will be the manufacturer or the distributor versus McDonald's, or vice versa. That is where the large claim looks from. When those types of claims will shut down industries.
So my question is this, and I'm so glad that we have you here because I've always wanted to know this. When you have a recall, it just sticks in your brain that there is a recall. Whether it's a year goes by, you always go, you know what, that was recalled. Maybe I shouldn't, give them my business. With this, you have McDonald's, and then you have the people who supplied the onions. So you, of course, have the victims that you just spoke about, but can McDonald's then sue the person who then supplied these particular onions and get money back? Because there's a loss of business there, right?
There is a loss of business. You hit it right on the nail. And so there are going to be a lot of plaintiffs and a lot of defendants.
Okay.
And so if we're looking at the original people that were hurt in this situation, if I'm one of those individuals or representing them, I'm suing McDonald's and I'm suing Taylor Farms. That is the supplier that you talked about. But they are a major player. Just like you're looking at McDonald's like, oh, they're this big monster. Taylor Farms is huge. They have 20,000 employees. They give onions and other type of vegetable type products to Taco Bell, to all the food industry. So they're not looking like some mom and pop shop. This is a major company that you would be suing. But also McDonald's could sue them. Taylor Farms could sue them because during this course of the investigation, they pointed the finger right to Taylor Farms in their onions as being the source of the issue. What happened after that? Places like Chipotle, places like Taco Bell quickly pulled their onion supply from Taylor Farms. So Taylor Farms could easily say, hey, if you could not have definitively said that our onions caused this, now you've caused us some harm. McDonald's could come back and say, hey, the fact that your onions caused us damage, you caused us harm. So there's going to be a lot of counter and cross suits happening within the situation. But I have to say this isn't new to McDonald's. This happened years ago, almost 40 years ago with McDonald's. An E. coli outbreak around the same amount of people. But once you start centralizing the way that we produce food, these types of things will continue to happen. Taylor Farms, not their first time happening either. Almost 600 people got affected by their last breakout.
Well, part of this should be buyer beware because, I mean, what we're going to get is, like you said, a lot of finger pointing, and the customer's going to be stuck in the middle. But at what point do you have to say, listen, you're eating at a restaurant, you have to assume that there's some sort of risk?
So you're talking about the assumed risk of you actually entering into getting this item from them. That will never supersede the damage that it was caused. Even if it's some implied risk that you're walking into this, it will never be as high as
you just have to say, hold them onions.
A lot of responsibility.
Hold the idea.
Just hold everything. Don't eat any of it.
I'm not gonna have them onions, okay?